What's up, everybody? This is Batch 16, and this is our very first podcast from Lifestyle and Wellness Management. I am Josh, your host for today, and this is Joel, and this is Jin Hao. For today's podcast, we'll be talking more about sports injuries. And in the upcoming weeks, we'll also be discussing more about various wellness issues such as sleep, diets, and exercise. So to start off the conversation, Jin Hao, can you tell us more about yourself? Which sport do you play, and also what injuries you have had?
So, since primary school, I've played. My first sport that I played during primary 3 was rugby. Before switching over to around primary 4, which is when I started enjoying my first hobby of basketball.
Oh, basketball.
From primary 4 until now, I'm still enjoying basketball as my hobby, but I started taking part in a competitive sport in track and field when secondary school started for me.
Oh, so you are playing basketball and track together?
Yeah.
Oh, so track is the competitive one and basketball just for leisure lah.
Yeah.
Okay. So anything else other than that? What competition have you taken part in?
For basketball, I only played one competitive basketball outside of school, which is called the Youth Sports 3v3. Other than that, I also did enjoy North Zone during my primary school as well.
I think it's primary school.
That was during primary school, yeah. But for track and field was where I where I spend most of my time enjoying competitive where I spend most of my time enjoying competitive sport, track and field, like national games during secondary school. And then when I come to Polite, then there's when I come to Poly, then there's Polite competition. Yeah.
So from my understanding, you are into competitive track and field, right? So may I ask, how often do you train, and what's the intensity level also? Do you train like every day, very intense, or are they like rest days or something like that?
For track and field, it's known to actually train for 3 major days, which is a must for us to train. We take it as Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday will most likely be power or speed, so it will be short distance. Then Wednesday, depending on the coach, it could also be starting blocks or maybe speed endurance. And the last day, Friday, most coaches will either choose gymming or distance running.
Oh, so you all don't focus on the sport itself lah, but you all still go gym and train on like power movements and all those stuff lah. So you all also break Saturday, Sunday. You all don't train Saturday, Sundays also lah.
Cause our muscles do actually need around 24 to 48 hours of rest before we're able to perform at a better level. So there's actually dedicated time for us to rest, which allows us to not get fatigued easily lah. I did try before training for a whole entire week and actually got injured.
Oh, okay. We'll talk more about that later. Don't worry. Okay. So I think that's it for now, and I'll be interviewing Joel in a jiffy. So for Joel, can you tell us more about yourself and what sport do you play and how long have you been in that sport?
Okay. Hi, I'm Joel. I have been playing soccer casually, like when I was in primary school and secondary school. But that was just for fun. Then once I entered Poly, I joined the Ultimate Frisbee, and I've been playing competitively until recently.
Understand. So what do you do at Frisbee? Is there any competition that you have attended? What competitions? Do you have any medals?
Yeah, I entered in a few tournaments before, like inter-school or when we host some friendly tournaments against teams from other countries.
Other countries?
Yeah.
Which countries?
Australia. So one of the teams actually came to NYP and we played against them. Yeah, so other than that, I didn't really take part in any other competitions due to injuries holding me back.
Oh yeah, okay, we'll talk more about that later also lah, don't worry. Alright, so for the second question, just for curiosity's sake, which position have you been playing in track and field for Jin Hao and also ultimate frisbee for Joel? And how's your experience? Do you find it stress, fun, or depressing?
So for me, my role is a sprinter. So I normally take part in the 100 meter and 200 meter events. But I also take part in relay events like the 4x100 and the 4x400 events.
Oh, actually, how many events are there?
For sprints, there are actually 3 main events: the 200, the 100, 200, and 400. Anything above that is 800 meter would be more of mid distance.
Understand.
And there will be the team events that are relays.
Okay.
Yeah.
So more about your experience.
My experience so far, I think I'm still working on myself and how to get much faster, especially during poly days where competition is actually much higher than secondary school. It's
of
actually
course.
even much tougher to get into the position to compete for Polite, where it only needs to be top 2, top 3 are actually eligible to go for competition.
So it's very stressful for you lah.
Actually, yeah, it's very stressed to actually keep competing with the same guys that are actually much faster than me.
Oh, so why do you continue to go track and field although it's quite stressful for you? I mean, you have your studies, then you still have take on another sport on top of your leisure activities.
I think for me was because I started enjoying running passionately. I always liked sports where I'm able to run, sweat, and allows me to run freely. That's where
so you can see he's a very active person lah.
Yeah, that's actually where I enjoy myself and when the emotions are running freely allows me to express my
so although it's very stressed, but then you still find some solace or enjoyment in the sport because you actually like running lah, right?
Yes, I like running actually.
Running away from your problems. Just kidding.
I like running since young, around kindergarten, where I actually always chase after my brother and going to the bus. Yeah. But during competitions, what I like about my competitions is actually the adrenaline, where you actually get the adrenaline before the competitions, even until you're up to the blocks, the starting blocks, and you're still feeling the adrenaline. But after experience and knowing where you actually stand, how the race will actually play out using sports psychology, I think it works better for me when I actually use visual imaging for my races.
Oh wow, that's the first time I heard.
And then all the emotions, anxiety just cuts off the moment
flow.
Yeah, when the other it actually comes in heats. So when the previous heat goes and then it clears for me to move on to the starting blocks, that's when your competitive state just comes in. And I think what I like about the competition the most is where I actually get to run and experience it.
Yeah, actually I think a lot of people also like to run. Like we play catching as kids, but then after that we just kind of cut off and we don't actually go into competitive part of it, right? After a while we just sian already.
Yeah. We miss playing catching every single day for 30 minutes under the sun.
Yeah, but I think it's quite good lah. You actually take competitive running. Okay. Yeah, okay. So for our next, we have Joel lah. So for Joel, same question as Jin Hao lah. Which position do you play in ultimate frisbee and how's your experience in it?
Okay, so when I was playing ultimate frisbee, I was considered a cutter.
Oh, actually, what's a cutter?
So basically, what a cutter does is basically he runs around the field to make sure that the passes by the handler is successful. So the handlers are...
sorry, cut you off. How many rows are there actually in ultimate frisbee? Because I don't play, I'm also not sure.
Okay, there are actually only two rows. So the handler and the cutters. The handlers are usually the ones throwing the disc, so they make the passes. And then the cutters are those that try to outrun their defenders to make sure that they get the disc.
Oh, so there's no goalkeeper or anything like that.
Yeah, there's no goalkeeper, no referee or anything.
Oh, understand. So how's your experience and how do you feel during like training, competition, prepping and all those stuff?
Okay, when I was in training of NYP Ultimate, was the training sessions got like intense gradually. So each training session got more tiring, and then it was draining physically and mentally as well. So other than physical training session, they also have mental training sessions. So sometimes they will get you to write in your journal some self-reflection of your trainings and your progress throughout the training session.
Understand.
Yeah, but I think that NYP Ultimate has really helped me improve my fitness levels in terms of, because I can see that my stamina has really improved since
Of course
I joined.
lah, because the frisbee court must be quite big, right? You
Yeah.
run back and forth.
Yeah, very tiring.
Understand. So yeah, so what I can see is that you like frisbee because it has helped you increase your stamina and make you more fit lah in general.
Yeah, and also I found the sports interesting which is why I joined in the first place. So I was first exposed to frisbee, ultimate frisbee, when it was my FFL in year 1. Yeah, and then I thought that it was quite fun so I wanted to join and try it out and gradually I became more passionate about the sport.
Understand. Okay. Thank you so much. All right. So coming to the most important question. Have you sustained any injuries and can you tell us more about it?
For me in track and field, the most common injuries would actually be overuse. Like what I mean by overuse would be where the muscles go into a period of time where it actually goes above its own performance. So when the training actually gets too intense for the muscles, it actually needs to adapt to the new
regime and all those stuff. Like
new intensity. So I have gotten quite a few injuries, especially hamstring injuries, shin injuries, and sometimes ankle injuries as well. Okay, but the most stand out to me injuries that I had was actually mostly the hamstrings and the shins. Because they are the ones that mostly come when you know that your muscles are actually very, very fatigued.
Okay, continue.
It's actually very easy to get fatigued during the sport. Even one day of training, the next day you can already feel that you don't have energy to wake up.
Because track is very intense, right?
Yes, yeah, super intense. You have about 8 to 10 sets of running and only 5 minutes rest. It's really quite intense for us to keep training in this intensity, especially during competitive track and field where the rest can actually decrease and intensity can increase, like the speed that you run during a race, speed that you run during your training. So it actually varies. There's a few times that I got injured due to this fatigue.
Yeah, how do you get injured? Just curious.
There was one time where I actually chose to train for a whole entire week, like I explained just now, and that actually caused my ankle, around the outer part of the ankle, to actually be very tight and very pain.
Oh, so basically you overtrain, then you never rest enough, is it something like that?
They actually put a lot of stress on my ankle because in sprinting it's actually about 3 to 5 times the amount of your weight that you actually put on the ground each time you step.
Oh yeah, I think I heard about it before. So actually your injury you sustained is because of like you are just careless, or was it an accident? So was it like you are very stressed, you everyday train, or were you just careless and you forgot about resting?
I think that time I was very motivated to train. So after coming back from an event, I felt that I didn't do very well for the event itself. So I actually went to overdrive the next week and keep training past my peak. So that was one source of the way I got injured. The other one was actually quite a weird injury. Was the one that's at the back of my hamstring. I think it was more of one of the hamstring muscles that actually got injured. I think it was slightly too tight, and then it actually caused a pumping sensation each time you try to extend the hamstring, try to stretch out, then it actually pops. So yeah.
Okay, so I think we will move on to Joel first, then you can explain more about your injuries later lah.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. All right, so for Joel, have you sustained any injury during training?
Yeah, I suffered quite a few injuries when I was training. So one of the most common one is getting abrasions.
Abrasion.
Yeah, so because sometimes when the handler makes a throw, the disc might be too fast for you to catch up to.
So you jump, then you
Yeah, so what we do is called layout.
lay.
So basically, we would jump to reach the disc, and then we would land on our stomach or chest.
Ouch.
Yeah. So, because our training field is considered quite a rough surface.
See, where do you train? Do you play in a field or like a court?
Oh, we play in a hockey pitch.
Hockey pitch.
Yeah.
So it's hard ground lah.
Quite and so not a smooth surface lah. So when you lay out, and then you will suffer quite a few abrasions on your forearm, or I suffered one on my stomach before, like my abdomen area.
Any other more serious injuries that you have? Like, do you have any ligament tear or dislocation?
Okay, not as serious, but when I was training outside, I actually fractured my ankle.
Oh, fractured.
Yeah, so it was last year March as well. So I was training outside at Kati Hard Court. So I was running to get the disc to score a point because I was already in the end zone. But then at the end of the end zone, it was an uneven surface. So the hard court ended there, and there was like a patch of grass, and it was uneven. So when I went to get the disc, my left foot slipped, and I fractured my ankle. Yeah.
So would you say it's actually a mistake on your part because you failed to warm up, or was it actually an accident?
I don't think it has anything to do with warming up. It's just that I wasn't aware of where I was going, and then I just slipped.
So it's just accident lah.
Yeah, it's an
Don't worry lah, that's Murphy's law lah.
yeah, unfortunate accident. But I still scored the point.
So. Wow.
Yeah, so then it was very painful.
Must have been lah.
I couldn't walk after that. Yeah, so I had to my friends had to help support me back.
Okay, I understand. Thank you. Alright, Shin Hao, so for your injury that you sustained, how do you go about in recuperating? Do you visit a doctor or do some home remedy? If you are doing home remedy, do you have any like secret techniques to share?
For most of my serious injuries that I had, I actually went to seek professional help, like at Kotepet Hospital. So they do have rehabilitation services provided for us.
Oh, they got rehab?
Yeah. I did rehab mostly for my sprained ankle, which was about grade 2.
I mean, sprained ankle, you can't have home remedy. Okay, understand.
Yeah, so that was when I was playing basketball, actually.
Basketball only, it's not even competitive.
Yeah, I played basketball, then I injured my ankle because I rode my whole entire ankle over someone's foot. Got a grade 2.
Okay.
Yeah. Even until now, there's still some restriction in the ankle.
Yeah. So what about the injuries you sustained from track? What do you do about it?
Actually, for track, the hamstring injury that I got,
the one that you're talking about.
Actually got better when I asked my brother, who was a professional coach, who got his degree from he got his diploma from RP. So he actually was more brief in how to do sports massage for me. So he did apply Tiger Balm rub on my legs before
Home
he started
remedy lah.
massaging. Yeah, so that was actually done by home remedy.
Oh, okay. So when you're actually your injury, right? Do you continue training? And how did it affect your your emotions and well-being and all these lah?
Actually, for those injuries, it did actually restricted how intense I could go in training.
So you continue training despite the injury lah?
Yeah, I did continue training, despite injury, which actually, on some ends actually caused some of my injuries to got worse, like the one on my ankle.
Guys, this is not recommended lah. Okay.
How the injury got worse was the one on the ankle. So there was an outer tendon, outer tendon going from the back on the ankle. That was actually the one that actually tore.
Nearby the Achilles heel or something
Yeah.
like that lah.
That was where I actually tore the tendon. I think it's called the peroneal tendon. That goes at the back of the ankle, and due to overstress of up and down dorsiflexion and plantar flexion during sprinting, was the reason why I actually tore that. That didn't get better even if I trained. So I actually had to be out for at least a month with continuous icing method.
So how do you actually feel? Because is it off season when you got injured?
Actually, that was somewhat going into the peak season.
Oh no! Then how do you feel? Do you feel like stress or something like that?
I did feel stressed missing out 1 month. Especially the 1 month was very important. It was where after we got our fitness up, then they start going into more intensive
The last
training.
leap, right?
Yeah, the last leap, and I missed that out. And during that part, there was actually some small competitions, during the polite season. So, my friends they actually go for those. They did go for those competitions, but I couldn't.
Wow, missing out a lot of things.
Yeah, I did miss those competitions. And when I came back, I actually came back much slower than before.
Of course. So how do you actually feel about it?
Actually, it is quite irritating because I've been in the industry of track and field for at least 7 years.
7.
At least 7 years, yeah. So
Half your life really.
basically, I'm 19 years old now.
Yeah, one third.
After how far it has been for me to continue pursuing this sport, it's actually quite irritating that my friends are actually going further than what I'm achieving. It's also very restrictive how I couldn't do any sport. Have to be careful how I walk. If it causes any pain, I have to stop walking.
So you were very frustrated lah, but you didn't attend any training, did you? Or you did?
When I had the ankle injury, I actually didn't attend training. But for the hamstring one, where it was home remedy, it actually took me at least a week of my brother massaging my hamstring.
Okay, a week is better than a month or so.
We'll take that on any days.
Okay, thank you. It's very insightful lah. So I'll just move on to Joel first. Thank you. Alright, Joel. So for your ankle injury, what do you do while you were recuperating? Can you tell us more about it?
Okay, so when I was injured, obviously I couldn't attend any training sessions because I couldn't even walk so
he did the smart move by staying home.
yeah, so what I did was, because when I was injured on that day, it was already at night so couldn't go to the hospital immediately, so I had to go home first. So since mine was an ankle fracture, right, I had to do the RICE method first. So
what's it?
Ice, compression, and elevation.
RICE.
Yeah.
Can you educate me?
So basically, R stands for resting.
Resting.
So don't strain your ankle anymore. Okay. Ice is to put ice at the affected area, which I did. I put an ice pack on my left ankle, to stop the swelling. And compression and elevation. So I had to put my ankle up on a soccer ball, so as a form of elevation. Yeah, and actually that's how I slept. But I didn't use the soccer ball. I put a cushion on my bed. Yeah. Then the next day, then I went to the hospital, because during that time I still didn't know it was. I didn't know it was a fracture. I thought it was just a sprain. but it definitely felt more painful than that lah. So after I went and got an X-ray, then the doctor told me that it was a minor fracture.
Oh.
Yeah.
So how long were you out for? You were still in the CCA playing competitive, right?
Yeah, but then it was a minor fracture, but I was out for quite some time lah. So I would say I only fully recovered about 7 to 8 months later.
Oh, that's very long.
Yeah,
7, 8 months.
because I didn't go for physio, so
Oh, you didn't go for physio.
yeah, so I just stay at home and I tried to
Shake leg lah.
Yes.
But leg cannot shake.
I tried to strengthen it by myself at home.
Oh.
So I did some stretches. Yeah. So 7 8 months later, which is about November last year. Yeah, that's when I fully recovered.
Oh, okay.
So
how actually how do you feel about actually missing out on this 8 months? Very long, right? I'm pretty sure you miss out a few competitive events and your golden cookie or something like that.
Not really, because just nice when I was injured. Then the next
right
week,
after
yeah,
lah.
yeah, right after I was injured, the next week was already circuit breaker. So
Lucky.
yeah, so all the competition like Spotlight and IVP were all cancelled lah.
So was there training?
There was no training. There was no physical training, but they
Zoom,
implemented Zoom training.
Oh.
So I could still attend that.
You still attended lah.
Yeah.
But do you actually train or do you just like warm up, stretch only?
It's so because usually our training has Monday and Wednesday, so they change it to rules learning session on Monday. So we just go through all the rules in Ultimate Frisbee. And Wednesday was a home PT session.
PT, you can do it.
No, I didn't do all the exercises. Those that requires my ankle, I just substituted it.
So it's more of like can do, just do, cannot do, don't do lah.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's what I did for the next few months until training was able to be resumed.
So just nice when you recover, then the training resume lah.
A bit before that, when I was still recovering, training already resumed. Yeah, so for the first few weeks I still couldn't attend.
So you only miss out like a short period of actual training time lah.
Yeah, like 1-2 months.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then after that, the coach slowly tried to bring me back in.
So how's your rebound? Do you actually like struggle to get back in shape or something like that?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, definitely.
Because I didn't use my left leg for so long, so like one leg is bigger than the other, so felt a bit weird.
Understand.
Yeah. Then and also having not trained for so long, when I finally went back, felt a little uncomfortable, like not used to it because I didn't.
Of course lah.
I haven't thrown a disc in so long.
Understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got a bit rusty.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Joel. Alright, so Junhao and Joel, what do you guys think people can do to actually reduce their chances of injury during training and also during the sports itself lah?
For me, it would be mostly overuse injuries, even though I do have the bit of sprains. For overuse, I would recommend to actually warm up and stretch your muscles properly, and also get your joints to be able to lubricate itself.
Of course lah, to lower injury, everyone needs to warm up, right? I mean, other than that, is there any precautionary things that they need to take or something like that?
I think for me would be especially for running would be how we learn. It's actually very easy to cause an injury just because that your landing was inappropriate.
I think for running, you're supposed to land on your heel first, right? If I'm not wrong, is it?
Actually, landing on your heel actually causes you to injure yourself more.
Oh.
By landing on your heel, more force is exerted on the heel, and actually the Achilles tendon have to take all that force by itself. Instead, running on your forefoot would be much more better for your body to overtake the amount of force it needs. So the force would go through the forefoot first, and then the ankle will take the force and absorb the force before the amount of force is actually able to go through the Achilles.
So you are saying instead of more than just warming up, the actual actions that you do in the sport, or in your case, track, is also very important, because one wrong action can lead to, or might lead to, injury lah, is it?
Yes, actually, even a little bit of mistake can actually cause your muscles to actually strain itself. For example, like shin splints are actually a great example of common injuries
Hurt. I think that hurts.
for athletes. So what it means is that the shin is either too tight or it actually not strong enough to handle the amount of force needed. So yeah, so mostly when doing left and rights, changing of directions, you get shin splints, or when putting a lot of force onto the ground, like sprinting, that will actually cause quite a bit of shin splints as well.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll go back to Joel now. Alright, Joel, so same question lah. What do you think people should do to minimize or avoid injury during sports?
Okay, my advice is to don't overexert your injuries too much. Don't be like me. So when I was still recovering from my ankle, I still went out to train.
Oh, that one is really asking for it already lah.
I still went out to train outdoor frisbee. Then I still went to play soccer.
Got buy insurance or not?
No, then I think that actually, of course, worsened it a bit. That's why I took so long to recover from a minor fracture. So I would suggest just stay at home and rest until you are fully recovered. Then can go out and play any sports that you want.
So you are trying to say is don't overlook all the small injuries, because it might snowball to become an even bigger one, right?
Basically.
Okay.
And also, if you're at home, try to move a bit more. Don't just stay there, and don't try to stretch more if you have the time. When you're at home, just
more flexible, is it?
Make sure that the muscles are at least work a bit since you are not able to walk.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Alright, so for our last question, do you guys have anything to say to other aspiring sports person?
Requiring injuries, I think that it's also being more careful and aware, especially for running. Hamstrings are very common injury. Other than that, I think if you take care of yourself, I think you are able to accomplish things that you set out to do.
Yeah. Always safety first lah. And Joel?
I would say, like what I said previously, always don't take your injuries for granted. Always make sure you're fully recovered. And regarding your sports progress, never give up. John Cena, wise words from a wise man.
Yes,
thank you very much.
Okay. So this concludes our first discussion, and stay tuned for more.